Greetings and welcome back to my Let's Learn series. And before we begin, hopefully people are seeing that, but mouse cursor is now visible. It's, as you can see, the Windows mouse cursor from like Windows XP or I guess the older Windows platforms. I'm not sure if Windows 7 or 8 has newer ones. I figured out how I could get a cursor sort of be visible. I basically went to options here and video options, and there's an actual ability here called mouse cursor. And what this will do, if you disable it, it'll actually let you use your normal operating system cursor for the game. If you enable it, then it, of course, use the games cursor. However, we're not going to use the games cursor for the simple reason that you guys can't see it. For some reason, Fraps is not picking it up, so that's making it a little bit hard for you guys to follow me sometimes along, when I'm pointing stuff with the mouse. So anyhow, that's been fixed. Hope you guys enjoyed. Demons are thought to come from another world, brought to Maj'Eyal by magical forces. Some are highly intelligent and follow their own ambitions. To what end, none know. Alright, so last time I entered Daikaira, and Daikaira is much like the Old Forest in a way. It's one of the listed dungeons from Into the Darkness. It's actually the last one, and it's considered to be the hardest of the bunch. For the most part, it has, I guess, a sort of, what can I say about this place? You're basically in the mountains in Daikaira, and mountains are usually the home of, like, snow giants and dragons of some sort. In this case, we're going to be fighting a few fire type of dragons once we get to find them. And that's fire apparently left a web for me to be pinned with. Alright, so here's an example of a snow giant. So, a towering creature, humanoid but huge. It wields a giant maul and does not look friendly. Lightning crackles over its body. So, this guy is a snow giant. And the snow giants are basically a nomadic civilization, I guess, that they were civil at one time, but they basically are not really civil to us, the friendly people of Maj'Eyal anymore. They tend to wield, like, heavier type of weapons and lightning, as you see. They're not too dangerous, but they're a fairly common occurrence in Daikaira and mountain-themed type areas, so to speak. Alright, so here's some hatchlings. You've probably already seen, me fight these guys enough, but here we'll actually be fighting a whole lot of these types of Drake hatchlings, and we'll actually be fighting an older counterpart to these dragons once we get to see them as well. We're just going to kill these guys. We're going to heal up a little bit. Now, I believe I've already stated this, but in the last episode where I basically is into this dungeon, this is basically the alternate version of Daikaira. It's basically a volcano type of area, and what's to say about this volcano type of area? It more or less has like this, non-harmful type of fire and terrain, lava floor type of idea. Nothing will really hurt you, but it can be kind of annoying. And you'll pretty much see why when it gets around to it. There's also this direwolf Doomed over here. He, as you can see, has the Call Shadow's talent and other stuff. Okay, we're going to try and get closer to him. He's already feeding on me, the bastard. I'm going to do this, do this. We're just going to do what we can to kill this guy. He tried to use knockback, he failed. I'm going to try dirty fighting. And we stunned him, and we're just going to flurry him to death. And his shots disappear. Now, this may not look all that hard just yet, but this dungeon will pick up in difficulty a little bit once we find the proper type of monsters to fight. By the way, there's also lots of these Zorns and Zarens and our type of the Earth Elemental type of guys. Yeah, hatchlings aren't too strong for me to really deal with. Alright, here's another snow giant. This guy is the snow giant boulder thrower. A towering creature, humanoid but huge, wields a giant maul and does not look friendly. And this guy in particular throws boulders at your face. These guys are one of the serious threats that you'll basically fight here. They're a rank normal, but their ability to throw rocks at you is actually quite frequent, and it can do a lot of damage. So there's one of, you know, the few threats, I guess, that make this place dangerous. Looks like we encountered ourselves an orc Wormick here. I guess we'll go into a little bit about these guys just because I encountered this. This is actually kind of a not really... this isn't really usually where you'll find orcs, but you'll sometimes, you know, orcs are something you sometimes find spawning in these, you know, second-tier dungeons. I found that Master Assassin, for example, in the old maze. Anyhow, here's a Wormick. This guy is a dragon-themed type of character. He has it's a dragon-themed talents, but he's an orc. He can be kind of dangerous. We're just going to hopefully wait for him. Come on, come to us. Alright, there he goes. So, he's basically a dragon-themed character. If I gave him a chance, he'd use dragon-like talents, but we don't plan to let him do that. I finally found this guy. This is a pharaoh. So, in the alternate dungeon, you'll sometimes find these pharaohs. They're basically fire elementals. They're not too dangerous or anything, but, you know, they can hurt. This guy hurts more, though, as you can see. So let's look at this. So Snow Giant Boulder Thrower uses Throw Boulder. He's not dazed anymore, but he is knocked back. He basically hit me for 143 physical damage. This thing does a whole lot of damage, this boulder that he throws. It actually is really painful. But if he's just alone like that, it's not too dangerous. You'll see why this dungeon is dangerous a little bit later on when we explore a little bit more. We're not really finding these dangerous situations yet. And there's this Umber Hulk, which is another type of Earth Elemental type of guy. So there's the first level out of the way. Wasn't really anything too tough. That's too heavy for me to really use, even though it's got lightning resistance on it. I don't plan to keep the other stuff. We're just going to transmogrify that for my fortress, and we finally got an update from him. And there's this Lore Master will lead on protect you. Alright, so if you recall from a few episodes ago, I went to the Lake of Nur and I activated the Sherato Fortress. What happens when you start using a transmogrification chest after you interacted with the fortress is that you actually start storing energy for the fortress, and in this case, the fortress shadow, that guy, the butler I guess we'll call him, has basically said, Master, you have sent enough energy to improve your Raw of Recall, please return to the fortress. We'll do that a little bit later, but you basically have the ability to sort of improve your character from the Sherato Fortress, and I'm just going to go answer the phone. Oh, well, that was fun. No answer. Anyhow, so yeah, the Fortress Shadows asked for me to come back. We're not going to do it just yet, but we'll get to that at the end of the episode. So yeah, Daikaira. Much like the old forest, it's a place where you'll find these like escorts to sort of help out. And in this case, we found the Warrior Lore Master, so woohoo! We didn't find a warrior. I actually can't get that's to demonstrate another type of escort. In this case, the Lore Master. Sadly, the Lore Master is considered to be one of the weaker escorts to really help. But oh well, it'll be helped. And I'll note that she basically has a couple things like Command Staff and Mind Seer. That's actually what I want to do. I actually want to give an order. Where's the portal? And it's to northwest. All right. Now over here, you may not notice it, but in this group of Venom Drake hatchlings, there's actually a special mob. The Venom Drake. So this guy's a little bit hard to sort of make out from the rest of the Venom Drake hatchlings, but this guy is actually an older, more mature Venom Drake hatchling. And this guy is a little bit different in that he basically gets the ability to use two type of Venom Drake aspect type of talents. In this case, a 6 Spray and Corrosive Breath. This guy is very powerful. And he's one of the few reasons that Daikaira is so dangerous. You basically fight these drakes, and drakes basically fire at you with their theme of element. In this case, this guy's an acid dragon, so he'll fire at me with acid breath. It won't be too fun. And sadly, because this is a breath attack that he's got, the Lore Master here is going to get hit in a moment. So that's not going to be too fun for her. Now, she might actually die just because we ran into this guy here, and there's not a whole lot I can really do about it. Sadly. What I can do, I guess, I'm probably going to rush this guy just so that the Venom Drake hits me and not her. It'll put me in range of both these guys at once, but All right, so there's a basic showing of what they can do. So this guy just used corrosive breath, and as you saw, it's basically like a sort of like wave type of attack. And you'll notice that when he hit all the Venom Drake hatchlings, they took 0 acid damage, because if you look at these guys, they have 100% acid resistance, and this guy does a 100% acid attack. So he didn't hurt any of these guys at all. And luckily, he wasn't close enough to hit the Lore Master, so that's good. He did hit me, however, and well, let's look at this. So, blah, blah, blah. I'll also note, by the way, that Corrosive Breath has the ability to disarm you. I'll go just, hover it over in a little bit. But anyways, the Venom Drake hatchlings hit me for a little bit. It wasn't really too bad or anything. But the Venom Drake, yeah, it used the Corrosive Breath attack there. So it breathed acid. And I basically took 100 damage. I absorbed it with that shield I put up, but he does a whole lot of damage. And acid's actually one of the more fearsome elements that you can be hit by. So this guy's a really fearsome dragon. And then Corrosive Breath, he basically, if you look at it here, enemies caught in the acid have a 25% chance of having their weapons become useless for free turns. The damage will increase with strength, blah, blah. So this guy, he basically has a chance to disarm you and do a whole lot of damage at once. He also has a 6 spray, which also has a chance to disarm you. Equal chance when it hits you. And at talent level 5, it becomes a beam. In this case, it won't be a beam, but this guy will be dangerous. He's not too dangerous right now, but he is dangerous. And we're going to do this, I think. And, oh, there's fearful guys over there. I don't like them. Alright, we're just going to... You know what? We're going to tell you just to hold put. That will keep her from hopefully moving and getting into trouble. They don't like to stay still for a long time, these escorts, so you have to be really careful using it. But in this case, I sort of have to, try and pin her down before these guys accidentally maybe, kill her. Okay, you're dead. Now, I have to basically book it up to her as fast as possible before trouble like that, says hi. And sadly, oh yes, you actually do have an ability here. So, you haven't seen me really do this yet, but Phase Door has this, sort of targeting ability. We'll actually do this. We're actually going to put her over here. So, that's actually something that you can use with Phase Door, by the way, where you can just teleport the, your friends, or enemies, for that matter, away from... trouble. And I'll note that she actually hit me there with a Mind Seer. These escorts don't really have any sort of concept of friendly fire, so sometimes they'll hit you by accident. I'm just going to heal up a little bit and continue on. Now, you want to be very careful with her. Because of the fact that there's Zoran and Zarin on this map, it's very possible that you'll find that this Lore Master is going to be basically attacked from nowhere from the walls, just because Zoran and Zarin, they can walk through walls because they're, Earth-related type of elements. And we found some Storage Drake hatchlings, so more types of Daikaira hatchlings to fight. There's also some Fire Drakes up here. Here's a regular Snow Giant, so a Tyrant creature, human but huge, who wields a giant maul and doesn't look really friendly. So that guy's just a regular Stone Giant. They're the weakest of the bunch. There's really nothing to really say about them. Let's do this. I'm going to activate this. Let's do sweep. You notice I'm going after the dragons and not the guy there. You'll find that hatchlings are very, very dangerous. They do a lot of damage, even though they're young-born type of enemy, so to speak. I'll also note that alternate Daikaira has these fireballs going on all the time, as you can see. That's the theme of this dungeon, the alternate Daikaira. You notice that also sometimes hits and destroys the walls, so that's something to be sort of careful of, because all of a sudden there's no cover there, because they got blown away to cover. Okay, here's the escort portal out there. There's a force trail right there. We're just gonna let this guy, surface kill everything. We're gonna wait for this guy here. Oh, okay, so here's another Drake. Here's the Fire Drake. This guy's the fire version of the Drake. He's a lot more, as you can see, distinct from the other type of Drake hatchling, so he's not as hard to tell as the veteran Drake hatchling. This guy has Wing Buffet and Fire Breath. Wing Buffet is basically a knockback ability. It's nothing really too worrisome. And then there's Fire Breath, which basically is damage. This guy in particular isn't too much to handle. He'll be easily enough to deal with, but he does have the ability to hit her, so I have to take that into account. We're going to try and rush him, basically kill him off as fast as possible. And we're just going to follow you until you hopefully get to that portal. And note that the fireballs don't hurt anyone that they hit, even the enemies. Okay, you're being really harassed here quite a bit. You'll notice that these guys are going after the Worry Laraster and not me. So it's actually not a good situation for her to be in right now. I don't have any stamina either, so she might be in trouble. Okay, you know what we're going to do? This might be a little bit risky, but we're going to actually step here. And she sort of, went to the wrong spot, but whatever. We're going to step down here. Oh, this is bad, because all these guys are going after her. This guy is actually going to attack her because of the simple fact that he's trying to get to me, but she's in the way of of getting to me. So these guys like to push around. In this case, they're going to push to her. We're actually going to do this and hope that this sort of pans out. Okay, what happened there? Did I fail to use Phase Door or something? Oh, great, my spell fizzled. Oh, that's great. That just had to happen right there. So she's taking a whole lot more damage because, my thing's stupidly fizzled. So probably next attack is maybe going to kill her. And there's not really much I can do about it. Let's try stepping here. As you can see, she's almost dead, literally. And well, that's sort of helped, but she's not going to probably step up there in a moment, so she's probably as good as dead. And there's nothing I can do about it. So that sometimes happens. Your escorts will die. You don't get any reward if they die, and this is you fail to protect the Worried Loremaster from death from Fire Drake hatchling. So no rewards for doing that. It'll happen. And there's the first case where it happened for me. If you can try and play like the safest type of route to try and get your escorts out, but sometimes it's not guaranteed to win, so to speak. And looks like there's a bloated whore in our Thunderer up here, so we're just going to do this, do that. I'm actually going to Shadow Step this guy, and we're actually going to do a Whirlwind right there. And I just got hit by a rock. There's the boulder throw over there. Alright, looks like there's another boulder throw right there. Another Thunderer. And here's an elite snow giant. This is the snow giant chieftain. This guy is a little bit different than his brethren because he's elite. And he actually has stun, knockback, and he can have other stuff available to him as well. These guys are not really too strong, early on, but they'll get a little bit stronger later on. And they're usually, they're usually next to a whole bunch of other guys like these with them, because this guy's a chief. Now, luckily these guys don't have any lightning resistance, so this guy will actually damage these guys when he's doing that. Oh boy, there's a bunch of guys there, so let's go here. Let's do that. And we found another Drake. This is the Lightning Drake, or the Storm Drake, rather. So, Lightning Breath and Lightning Speed. So here's this guy's Lightning Breath. It basically does daze 100% of the time, by the way. So this guy will actually daze you 100% of the time when he hits you. Not that daze is really a big issue, but that's his status effect for his Lightning Breath. And he also does, random RNG type of lightning damage. Sometimes this guy can hit you really, really hard because the lightning damage is just, as you can see, 44 to 64 to 133 to 0.92 lightning damage per turn. So he can hit you very weak or he can hit you really strong, depending on how it works. He also has lightning speed, which lets him basically move really fast until he, sort of catches up to you. Also reduces damage. And there's another Drake. So we're actually, this is why we're, you know, getting into the bit why Daikaira is like kind of dangerous. You basically sometimes fight a whole bunch of dangerous enemies all at once. So we are actually fighting 2 Drakes at this point. Plus we actually wasted some time fighting that Thunder to begin with. And there's fire. Now note that in this case, this guy hit these guys for fire damage. This guy doesn't take any damage, but these guys will burn because they're not, you know, resistant in any way to that sort of attack. Okay, we're actually going to drop this here. That actually burned me a little bit, but who cares? Note that these Drakes are a little bit stronger than the other guys I've been fighting. They take a few hits. Alright, there's a boulder thrower. Ow. People usually call the snow giant boulder throwers the toughest guys in here just because of the fact that they hit so hard. And it's for pure physical damage that you can't really resist at all, either. And we've just come across a unique. So this is Burb, the snow giant champion. A maddened and raging snow giant that towers over his comrades. You've heard legends mentioning this particular monstrosity. They say that when he's not rampaging around frothing at the mouth, he sits almost childlike, engraving stories and mysterious paintings on any flat stone surface he can find. So this is Burb, the snow giant. He's actually not too tough, but he has some notable abilities. He has the ability to throw boulders at you, and he has something called Utter Cold, which basically increases all cold damage by 8% and ignores 44% of cold resistance when he, you know, does stuff. And he has the ability to use something called Freeze, as, you know, pretty much all the dangerous stuff like the shade from the core pool or most of the other bosses use this to, you know, sort of deal with you. So this guy's kind of dangerous, and he also note that this is actually the first example where you actually find a guy of a prodigy. So this guy has a prodigy called Giant Leap, and this is basically a very super powerful rush ability that ignores enemies in front of you and basically dazes and does a lot of damage to anything you hit. So this guy is, like, you know, really strong. We're actually going to step away from him, and he actually tried to boulder us there. We're going to zap there a little bit, but that guy is not to be trifled with. He, I won't say he's strong because he isn't strong, but he is, you know, capable of being a threat. So I have to sort of take him into account that he's a threat. We're actually going to come down here. What I'm sort of doing right now. Okay, there's Burb. We're going to just do this and hit me with that rock. I kind of want to lure him away from his friends for now, if possible, just to try and deal with him. We'll activate this now. Alright, there he is. My shield's about to actually dissipate, so we're just going to go here. Looks like his friends are actually coming down to play, so... let's see here. Let's actually disengage. I didn't have the boots on. So here's a good example where it's good to actually take off your things from the hotbar so you remember that they aren't equipped. They actually have this like sort of border around it, but I don't find it really helps about a lot. Alright, so this guy uses freeze ability. It basically froze me, as you can see. It does a whole lot of damage as well. We're actually just going to teleport at this point. So before I make that mistake again, I was wearing these, you know, because the light rays might help, but I'm also saving it for light resistance. I'm not going to actually put them back on though, just for a simple reason that it's better to have. If I'm going to I want this for a disengage every so often because it is kind of useful. I also want to use this for the heal mod, so we're not going to put this one either, but yeah, it's basically just an example where you want to be kind of careful with stuff that you have in your inventory but don't have equipped it just yet. Alright, so he tried to freeze me there, he failed to freeze me. We're just going to put these on. At this point we're actually going to try and do like the sort of stun chain that we do on all the other boss type enemies. So we stun him there. We dirty fight to stun him a little bit more. We're actually going to use sweep on him because this guy has a lot of HP. He can actually take quite a bit of a beating before he goes down. There's Utter Cold. That's a little ring around him, so he's got Utter Cold around him. So he'll be able to penetrate me with cold type talents if he tries. We'll drop this right here. And we'll drop this right there. And we'll flurry him. So he is going down pretty damn fast, but as you can see, he's taking a little bit of beating. And he has got some dangerous talents. Alright, those guys are coming after me. But they're dead, so there's Burb. He's been met, he's been dealt with. He's out of the way. We were increasing flurry last time and we'll continue to do so. I'll keep dropping a few points into magic every so often. And we have Guardians of the Wood. Alright, so at this point we've actually reached the racial talent, which I really feel deserves some mention for taking. Guardian of the Wood is, I'll note that for Florin, they have this awesome nature racial, or not nature racials, but they have awesome racial type talents that they have access to. And the first one, Wrath of the Woods, it's like, it bonus will increase with your willpower, so it's not going to be as useful to you, but it'll still be useful for decreasing your damage and increasing your damage, even with one talent point for just like, off times that you need a little bit of damage bump, or just to reduce damage a little bit. So that's like the first notable talent that's really worth looking at. They also have Shackled here, which increases physical and mental save. That works better with characters that actually stack mental save and physical save, but I'll note that the Child Blaze doesn't really have such talents, so they're kind of weak against such saves and such. And Shackle is a very powerful ability on many type of characters that can actually make use of the save. Guardian of the Wood is the first really notable talent that any Florin character should have. So you're part of the Wood. It shields you from corruption. This increases your disease immunity by 20% initially, blight resistance by 3%, and all resistances by 2%. So this actually gives me massive resistances to stuff. If I actually go to my defense, all resistance is right here, and this is actually a very special type of resistance. It basically applies to all types of damage you can take, so to speak. So all damage you receive through any means is increased by this percentage. This stacks with individual damage type resistances. So I basically have 2% resistance that applies to anything that hits me. So if I get hit by a lightning attack, I get basically 33% or whatever, resistance to lightning-based attacks. If I was to get hit by physical damage, like that Stonethrower's guy, he would hit me for 2% less, just because I don't have any physical resistance, but I do have a little bit of all. Also have, what can I say about it? I also have these, effect resistances over here, and I just picked up disease. And that'll help against, disease type effects, and that'll play a bigger role when we fight such enemies. Blight's also very nice to have as well. There's a particular enemy that I'm really fearful of, but having the talent here, Guardian of the Wood, will really help against him when we find him. He's actually one of the enemies that could spawn in the Lake of Nur, which didn't, which I'm kind of unhappy about not happening, but not really, because I would have been killed. He was just to sort of tell you about him, this enemy uses blight damage. He basically has these very special type of abilities that cause disease and then basically make it explode on you. He's like the toughest enemy you could fight in the Lake of Nur if you go to instance number 3 and you possibly face him there. He'll spawn with more regularity later on in the game, but that's one of the first instances where you might find him, and if you do find him, he will rip you to shreds. Okay, we'll kill that guy. Kill this guy. And now I'll note that over here there's actually a vault. Sometimes vaults won't actually have a door to sort of get to, so you actually have to try and find the door to the instance. In this case, I think we can go down here, and we'll actually just start digging up right there, apparently. Now, this is a very special Daikaira vault. It's basically, I guess, a snow giant compound. Usually it'll be, accessible from the outside. In this case, it wasn't. You'll find a bunch of snow giants in here. Sometimes you'll find the other special ones as well. And as you see, they're using their infusions like no one's business. Okay, we're just going to drop this maybe here. And maybe we'll just drop that. I'll drop it right there. Kill them all. I'll note at this point, by the way, I'm using Flurry quite a bit. Because I've been starting to level up Flurry a little bit, you'll notice that his damage is going up quite a bit, and now that I basically have 3 talent points in it. It's actually at 91% damage, and this is a multi-hit type of talent, so I'm basically hitting your target 3 times with each weapon for 91% damage. What that means is I'm actually hitting 6 times. 3 times with my main hand weapon and 3 times with the offhand weapon. And once I get this up to talent level 4, it'll actually hit almost 100% of the damage ratio of, like, what I could hit with a regular weapon with each hand. Now, I'll note that in the Snow Giant Village here type of vault, you basically have these like little mini rooms, and there's this big one. If you go to these mini ones, you'll basically find these enemies in here, snow giants. They could be the regular ones, they could be the tougher ones. There's no real mention as to what type you'll find. This one's a boulder thrower, so he's going to throw boulders at me. That'll be fun. But we killed them anyways. These guys that I'm fighting here aren't too tough, but they sometimes guard some nice items that you can pick up. And I didn't really stand the right spot here, but I can maybe put this right there. Again, I put myself in the wrong spot, but put that there. And that's just a regular one. Now, I've opened up all the small rooms. A little bit of items in there. We can actually look at our transmogrification chest. Let's go look at the other stuff in here. I picked up a teleportation room with a duelist of cooldown 14. We're actually going to keep this, by the way. But I don't see anything else, I don't think, in here that is really catching my eye. I'll note, you can look down the category to see if there's any specific type of items that you may want. So, like, I could look in here and maybe try and find daggers. There's none in here, but if daggers were spawning from like my loot from this instance, I could look in here just to find them if that's all I'm really interested in. And reduce damage from summoned. That's for, summoners, so they basically don't take damage from their summons. And alright, so nothing's really of interest in here. At any time, if you want to, you can actually use a transmogrification chest to basically just transmogrify items. And I'll do that regularly if I, basically if there's items I don't want, and I have the transmogrification chest, and I'm actually using it to, get rid of the items, then I'll always use it just to clear off the items, just so I don't have to deal with the, chuckling through them just to try and find if there's anything good after I continue the instance. Sometimes you can get a lot of items in a single instance due to vaults and other things, so it's good to sometimes clear it. Alright, so we basically come up to here. Now, I want to know a few things. One, you'll note that at the bottom of this, little blurb on David Let's here, myself, my character, you'll see something that says, cannot teleport to this place. So, this vault is something to know about any vault that you basically can find, but these places, you cannot teleport in them. So, if I try and use a teleport spell, I cannot teleport in here. Well, I guess I can use that one. But you basically have, difficulty being able to teleport in these places, so it's a little bit of an issue sometimes. Anyhow, we're now at this place, and this is where things will get a little bit difficult. This door seems to be sealed off. You think you can open it. Wonder if this will be a good idea. Alright, so this is the big vault, big room vault of the Snow Giant Chieftain type of thing here. You'll notice that right off the bat, there's 1, 2, 3 Snow Giant boulder throwers. There's this guy here, he's a unique. And that's something to note about these places. They'll have sometimes these unique I think they all have unique Snow Giant Chieftains in them. So in this case, we got a unique to deal with. And we also have a whole bunch of other guys over in this corner and right there. So there's a lot of guys here. And they will not be friendly. Now, I can use this right here. And you notice that these guys are all getting hit, so they've all noticed me. They're all trying to come after me. There's a Thunderer that was in there, so he'll be fun. I'll put this maybe down here. You notice that there's basically stone boulder type of effects happening. These guys will use their talents even if they don't see you to try and hit you. And in this case, they're throwing their boulders in there sometimes to try and hit me. Which is actually a good thing because sometimes they'll hit themselves in there. That's why you'll sometimes find guys that are damaged for no particular reason. Now, why'd you get run away? Whatever. Just die, please. Hey, there we go. We're just going to drop that there. So he'll take a little bit of fire damage. This guy's coming for us. We're just going to hit him, hit him. So we're just going to stay here for a little bit. You'll notice that what I did here, I sort of dig this little, you know, basically little, you know, very cut off ability to basically put this pillar right here. Prevents these guys from seeing me. But they'll basically funnel here, and I can basically kill them one at a time. So this guy pops up. Hey, what's up? Ow! I don't think that guy actually hit me. There's actually another snowboard for right there. So we're actually going to do this. Heal up a little bit. Alright, he did hit me. Oh, whatever. So, those guys in there, they've been, you know, having fun. This guy just cast Illuminate on me and blinded me, so I'm a blinded man for a moment. So, this guy is actually a unique. And I figure I should talk to you a little bit more about uniques. This guy's a real true unique. The uniques that you've seen so far, like the Bloodmaster from the Hidden Compound and the Wielding Beast, those uniques, those guys are like set to have certain talents whenever you fight them. But true uniques, they're basically a type of enemy in here. They spawn with a particular set of talents. So this guy, he is an Archmage, and on top of him being an Archmage, he's also something else. What I mean by being something else, this guy actually has talents from 2 different classes. So when you're fighting like a rare type of enemy, like those, you know, the many rares I've fought, they're usually one class. In this case, this Snow Giant is actually 2 classes merged into one character. He's an Archmage, and he's got basically Flame Shock, Feather Wind, and other, you know, type of arcane type of spellcasting stuff as an Archmage does. He's also got something called, he's also going to have some other talents in here from another class. I'm not sure specifically which one, but this guy would basically have talents from 2 different classes at once. And this guy's really popping with lots of stuff, and there's other guys around here I have to deal with. So I have to sort of deal with them as well. So let's get here. I got hit by a rock there. That kind of sucked, but whatever. We're just going to drop this right there. That's actually going to start firing at whoever it wants to, so that's good. I'll note, by the way, I'm outside of vault at this point. This is the vault here, but this one tile over here at this point is all free for me to teleport from if I need to. Now, this guy's popping up. He's taking a little bit of damage. He's dead. This guy pops up. We're going to do dirty fighting on him. We'll activate our regeneration room because I'm probably going to kill this guy in a moment. And, okay, so here's the unique. He's, you know, right next to me. This guy, as you can see, he has a little bit of good resistance for himself. Some of them are partially because he's got Archmage type talents in him. If I actually look at him, let's see here. So he's got Arcane Power, which basically increases his spell power and Arcane Resistance by 25%. So that's actually giving him a boost to his Arcane Resistance and his spell power at the same time. Along with all these other damn talents that he's going to be using on me constantly. Okay, first things first, this guy's an Archmage, so we want to stun this guy. And we stun him, but he also stunned me back with Burning Shock, but I can just get rid of that, so no worries about it. We're just going to drop this on him. And we'll do this. So yeah, he's casting spells on me constantly. We're trying to basically we're basically going to try and run him down as fast as possible, so to speak. We're going to bleed him. So I use sweep there. So sweep, there's 2 ways to use sweep. You can use it as like a sort of bleed ability, but basically bleeds your enemy over a few turns. So this guy's going to take a little bit of weapon damage initially from my attack. He'll also take 35 times 4, so he'll take 140 damage over 4 turns as well. He'll probably survive that much anyway, so he's going to take a whole lot of damage. I'm going to basically hit him with Flurry next. And you'll notice that his health is barely going down quite a bit now. I basically Shadow Step and Rush here. We're actually going to use Shadow Step to hit him because it'll possibly pop me over here because this guy's over there. I'll note that I'm actually running on stamina at this point, but this guy, as you can see, he's going down pretty damn quick, and he's actually silenced. So something to know about Shadow Step here. This actually has a chance to silence the character, I think it is. Or no, it doesn't. This is just a rush talent that dazes the talent, but let's see, what caused that? Okay, so I actually silenced this guy with my weapon here, so this guy's unable to cast spells at least because he's silenced, so that's nice. I'll actually just do this because we'll maybe not see this on myself really much. So here's silence. This target is silence, preventing it from casting spells and using some focal talents. So he can't cast anything at the moment, and he's also getting worn down real quick. So let's basically mop into him very quickly. And he's no longer silenced, and as you see, he casts a spell, Phase Door, much like I can. He casts it, beyond me. We'll just kill him. And another one of these guys popped up. So we're just going to... Let's see here. Can I get these guys all at once? I can, because it's good enough. Drop this there. Drop this here. Ow. Oh boy, there's at least 2 of them standing right there. Alright, whenever you see 2 of these guys or 3 of these guys, this is where it really gets difficult. These guys can really punish you. So we actually want to teleport away from them a little bit. Just wait up a little bit, heal up. Ow. So Snow Giant Thunderer hit me for damage. The Boulder Thrower hit me for damage. This is where, the damage can kind of add up a little bit. It hurt a little bit there. This guy hit me, and the other guy that's next to him hit me. Kill him. There's the Boulder Thrower, another one of these guys. We're just going to do that and that. I'll note, by the way, that that unique drops a randart item whenever he dies. Unlike the rare items that drop their, like rare type of special items, this guy actually drops randart items. Randarts are basically on par with these fixed start artifact items. And I'll note, by the way, this is an Arcane Forces item. This is actually used to trade with the apprentice Archmage guy who lets you in Anguin in the first place over there outside of the old forest on the world map. Now, these Randarts, they can basically have a whole, as you can see, ton of effects on them. And this is what makes them sometimes on par with Randart items. In this case, this one isn't because it's tier 2 and it's a shield for that matter, but you can sometimes find very powerful uniques that have these nice little items like these on top of them that you can make use of if you're using those specific types of items. Oh, they're all dead. All right. So we managed to kill off all those guys in the vault. There's actually another one of these items there. This is Eye of the Forest. It actually is actually really nice. We're going to keep this, I think. And this other stuff we're just going to sell. So we'll just go to here, sell it all. So that was the second instance of Daikaira. So at this point, we've actually done only half of Daikaira, and I'll note this, how long it take me to get through 2 of these instances. This is, as is pretty much always stated, this is a hard instance. It's partly hard because of vaults, but it's also hard because of other events that could happen. I'll note, for example, that thunderstorm that I have exhibited in Old Forest, that could happen in Daikaira, and that's always fun. There's also the chance of getting some other guys, like, the fire drakes that could make your day. Kill him. Let's do that. And kill all those guys. Hey, a vampire popped up. You don't usually see these guys outside of one of the later dungeons. So another type of undead enemy here, vampires. This is a humanoid with an aura of power. You notice a sharp set of front teeth. Vampires are, I guess, how can I put it? These guys are basically hierarchy undead type of enemies. They usually have some sort of ruin or other stuff available to them. They have a couple talents like Blur Sight, or actually look over here to their talents. They have a couple talents like Circle of Death, Blur Sight, and Blur Mortality, and other stuff that like Vampire Gift here. It basically lets them, do more advanced stuff that the other undead really can't do. This guy's usually, I consider this guy to be more of a supportive undead character. So he supports the under undead, but he's basically a master of them also as well. And as such, he has very mastery type of talents. Now, I'll note something. All of a sudden, there's all this green stuff happening, and this is usually a sure sign we're going to find these guys. Here's the Rexling, and this is actually one of the few guys I needed for the Brotherhood of Alchemists over here. So I need to get a Rexling eyeball for Maris of Elvia, and here's our first encounter with Rexling. So this is a demon, and I want to know something about these guys. This guy, if you look at his faction there, it says Fearscape, hostile. These guys are actually a different faction from, say, these guys, the regular enemies. And these guys don't get along with each other. So this guy's actually getting hit by this guy, and he's actually not going to like these guys very much. If I actually jumped out of line of sight of this guy, he'd actually try and go after these guys, but we're just going to kill him anyway, so it's not really a big issue anyways. And those guys, I guess, didn't really decide to come after me, which is kind of odd. And it could be because they went after these guys instead. They're rushing up there. So yeah, as you see, this guy is fighting everyone else because he's from Fearscape, and Fearscape is not friendly with other, with normal enemies. So he's fighting everyone else. This assassin, these fire drake hacking and other stuff up here. For some reason, there's a sandworm in the Daikaira mountains. I don't know why. And there's a thunder up there. Hi, thunder. Okay, let's just kill these guys. I'm actually taking a lot of damage from those guys up there hitting me. Kill this guy. This guy tried to rush me there. That's kind of annoying. Let's do this, and that, and this. I'm actually kind of playing this a little bit dangerously because there's a thunder up there hitting me constantly, as you can see, with lightning. And on top of that, there's guys, just saying, hey, let's drop it down and say hi to him. So, a little bit reckless here, but whatever. Drop this right here. We're actually going to do this right now. Activate this. And there's a bullet thrower up there now. How many damn guys is up here? We got Zarans up here. So a tougher relative to Zorn. And there's a bunch of pharaohs and other stuff up here, so lots of fun stuff. At least this is off recharge towns. Let's do this. And we'll just slowly whittle away at these guys. So you notice that these guys are walking through the walls. So these guys, they ignore walls, so to speak, as like sort of terrain. And they'll actually march through it without any issue. Ah, damn it! You hit me with a boulder. And there's another guy walking through the walls, the Zorn. Heal up a little bit. A little bit reckless there, but I mean, you probably shouldn't, be as reckless as me, sort of at any given time. But at this point, my character has quite a few escapes available to him, so I don't feel that I really need to be as careful as I, have been being so with this character. And at this point, I'll note that I'm not really specifying you should always play, very perfectly clearly careful to every single point of the game. It helps, and it'll definitely keep you alive if you want to do it that way. But it also kind of, slows down the game and makes it kind of boring. And we found another unique. So this is actually more like, as we'll call them, fixed start uniques. This is the fragmented essence of Harkun Zun. And as you can see, it says Zorn, but it's a unique. And if I actually go and look at him, this guy has Constrict and Rush. So this guy can rush me, and he has this ability called Constrict. Constrict is a very powerful ability that'll basically prevent the target from moving, and it'll also suffocate him slowly. Hopefully we won't have to deal with all of his buddies. This guy is actually a multiple unique. There'll be a bunch of other fragmented essences doing around him, but we'll get to that when we actually see them. And this guy's stunned me. We're just going to get that off. So we'll work through these guys. Alright, so here's the fragment essence of Harkun Zun. Individually, these guys aren't too tough, but you don't fight these guys individually more or less of the time. If I walk up here... Okay, where are they? That's a snake. I'm actually going to let this guy come to me. By the way, I want to note something about Daikaira Free. This part of the instance. You'll sometimes find these like horror temporal type of enemies. These guys are, I guess, a temporal type of enemy that you'll sometimes find in the third instance of Daikaira. These guys, I won't say they're tough, but they're actually like your first encounter of like temporal type of enemies. As you can see, this guy resists temporal damage. If I actually look at him specifically, he's got talents that should, be kind of interesting to like they'll be kind of temporal in nature, like this space-time tuning, or speed sap, for example. So expect these guys, these temporal guys, to have like sort of like these time-altering type of talents. And you'll start finding them here in Daikaira free. Probably your first instance of finding them, and only instance really of finding them. Okay, kill that guy. There's a Drake up there. And notice that the like there are volcano shot there basically destroyed the part of the wall there. So I lost my cover. And as a result, hey, there's the knockback ability in effect, wing buffet. So wee made me go off a little bit there. This guy's a bit closer. Notice how Flurry just instantly killed that Drake. Okay, let's just heal up a little bit more. Now, I just want to specify something here. This is probably one of the few instances where you'll find a level. I've already leveled up in this level already, so this level's actually almost gotten me at least 2 full levels. And there's a giant spider, cool. Giant spiders are actually another one of these Brotherhood of Alchemists. Well, you don't actually see it here for any of them, but that's actually one of these Brotherhood of Alchemists ingredient monsters you can find, and they're actually really rare to find. If you find a giant spider this early, consider yourself lucky if you need that ingredient. These guys are one of the more late-turn monsters usually you'll find. Luckily, he's also a very easy monster to fight too. He's just very rare to fight, usually. Okay, they're all dead. There's a wolf to the north of me. Kill that wolf. You notice that the Pharaohs is using flame constantly on me to try and wear me down. These guys, the Pharaohs, aren't really too tough, but they can be kind of annoying. Because they can basically will you down with lots of fire if you don't have fire resistance. Which I don't think this character actually has very much of. He's actually got no fire resistance, so those guys, they don't really do a whole lot of damage if you don't have a lot of resistance to fire, but they'll still do quite a bit of damage and they'll be very annoying. And we're actually going to step back here. Kill that guy, kill his Zaren. Now, I'm a little bit perplexed, but we basically haven't found any of those fragmented essences of Harkon Zun. I know that they're over here because I saw one. So we're actually going to do a little bit of finding here at this point. We're actually going to go try and find these Harkon Zun guys. Where were they? I found them. Because the guy was like serving the wall, it's possible that these guys are actually spawned in a wall. So I have to go around looking for them a little bit, which kind of sucks. Maybe around here. Maybe they're over here. So this is not something I'll usually do, just dig around like this madly, but because I know there's like, you know, those enemies somewhere around, and I do actually want to try and show them off because they are sort of a special monster. I'll note that these, like the fragmented guy right there, if you manage to find and kill all of his essences, that guy, he actually turns into his actually true form. He's like one of those, like, you know, he's fragmented, but once you kill his fragments, he morphs into his more powerful form to kick ass and shoot bubblegum and all that. And then when you defeat him, you get an achievement and you get a reward for it if you haven't got it already. So we're just gonna look around. We're basically looking around randomly at this point because I can't find this stupid guy. I don't know where to look. Okay, you know what we're actually going to do? I'm just going to go do this. Oh, that only works while mediating. This basically has an ability called Earth Eyes on it. This Earth Eyes talent from the Eye of the Forest. If you're mediating while using Earth Eyes, you actually get the ability to see monsters around you. So even if I don't have line of sight, I can see these guys. But since I don't have access to that, do I have? No, I don't. Alright, well, I really don't want to have you guys constantly just wait for me to try and find these guys. It might take a very long time for me to find these essences to fight. Because that's what I'm basically going to do. I'm basically going to try and fight these guys once I find them. If I damn well find them. But until I do, we're just going to pause the recording, and I'll see you back when we actually try and find these guys. So I'll see you in a bit. So yeah, as you can see, I dug around a little bit. I haven't found this guy. I tried digging around all this, sort of area, and even outside of it quite a bit, but I did not find a single, another one of these Harkoon Zoom guys to sort of deal with, which is unfortunate because, I actually didn't really want to fight him for you guys, but whatever. We won't basically keep trying to find this guy. It's somewhere here probably, this guy, or maybe he just didn't spawn or whatever else, but he just didn't seem to appear. So, nothing I can really do about it. We'll push on. Alright, so I've gone through the first 3 instances of Daikaira. We made it to Daikaira 4. Daikaira 4 is usually where you find a boss for Daikaira, and it's always going to be, it won't be this type of instance all the time. Sometimes you'll basically find an instance much like the other 3 ones you came up with, long, windy corridors, up beaten pathway type of ideas. But Daikaira 4 for the alternate version, it basically is like a sort of open area with lots of trees in it. And the boss here is nothing to be trifled with, for sure. Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, there's this guy over here. So we got ourselves a boulder thrower. There's actually a lot of these giants all over the place down here, so... Ow. These guys could hurt me quite a bit if I'm not careful, so... We're just going to activate this right here. Kill him. So there's another Thunderer coming up over there. Now, I would Shadow Step these guys, but I'm actually kind of a little bit, wary of doing so because it moves them away from the entrance. This is actually one of the few instances where you actually want to consider hugging the entrance a little bit. These guys that I'm fighting here, sometimes you'll find a group that's sort of going to be dangerous. These guys aren't too dangerous, so I'm able to deal with them. And I got the level 20, which will help quite a bit. But due diligence to be given to the fact that these guys could kick my ass if they got the chance. Now I got the level 20, which is very nice. I'll note that at level 20 you get a second category point, so I now have the ability to get my 5th inscription rune slot if I so wish to. I also get the 2 class points, so we can bump that flurry to maximum there. Increase up my dexterity a little bit more. Magic. So we'll do all that. And I might actually use that inscription slot for maybe finding the Harkoon Zoo a little bit later. Now you'll notice that there's lots of these gems scattered all around. This is a very unique... the alternate version of Daikaira is actually very unique. And I just got pinned to the ground. It's very unique in that basically you don't find this sort of happening with the other Daikaira layout. It's basically due to the boss. The boss is very much, well, it's typical of this type of boss that you basically see in all the other games that you basically play with it. And there's a luminescent horror! Oh boy, what fun. We already know what they can do, so let's put on our anti-magic gear right away. And we got Dredgeling up here. There's another temporal enemy, so normally these temporal enemies, this is a Dredgeling. He has the ability to use dust to dust. This is basically a sort of it turns you back to dust. And it does temporal damage, and it hurts quite a bit when it hits you with it. So there's another temporal enemy to deal with, but we want to actually deal with the encroaching guys that might kick my ass, so to speak. I think we'll actually take this off at this point. Disarm, pinning, knockback. That was nice for a while, but we need to have our light resistance for the coming threat that's over there. And hey, why not? We have a rare Pharos. And I'll note something by this, by the way. You notice that this guy has something called temporary status effect, anti-magic disruption. So, much like you, these guys can also suffer from anti-magic disruption if they're a spellcaster type of enemy that is using, anti-magic gear. These guys have their own inventories, and this guy in particular has an anti-magic weapon of some sort in his inventory. This guy's a Reaver. So that's a Reaver Pharaohs right there. So he'll be fun to deal with. And as you can see, he's already hexing me and all that other crap. And this guy is also, you know, being a trite little guy to deal with. Would be nice to sort of hit that. Oh well. I'll get what I can. I got the dredge. Okay, he's dead. So as you can see, these guys are chucking light type damage abilities at me. Quite annoyingly. And they're using Fire Beam, as you can see. I don't actually want to charge these guys with this guy right next to him. I actually want to try and lure these guys one-on-one. Like so. Okay, one of them is dead. And there we go. We got the Pharaoh's Reaver on top of me now. We're going to activate both of these abilities. We're going to sweep it. You notice that elementals don't take any bleed damage, so I sort of just forgot about that, but this guy doesn't take bleed damage because he's an element. He doesn't actually have, I guess, any sort of living structure to him. Luckily, he's a Pharaoh, so it wasn't too dangerous, but you don't want to use stun or other status effects on elementals because they're usually immune to them. This is actually a fairly nice cloak. This gives resistance to acid. It gives me a chance to corrode enemy and the chance of disease on a melee hit. That's strangely powerful. So actually make use of that, I think. Pharaoh's Flame! There's another Pharaoh's. Why not? Hey, there's the other guy. The third Luminous Horror that usually fight. Activate this. Ow. Now, you want to be very careful whenever you see a dragon enemy on this instance, by the way. Dragons are kind of interesting in how they work. If a Drake hatchling, for example, sees you, other types of drakes that actually see this dragon will actually move with him to try and, you know, find you. So these guys are all moving in sort of like, you know, a cluster to try and find me. And there's an orc assassin there. So we're actually going to move away a little bit. Move right here, for example. So I'm just standing here, dealing with these like guys one-on-one. Alright, so they're all dealt with. So yeah, we barely even gone into most of this instance, and as you can see, there's a ton of guys in this fourth instance. This is one of the reasons that Daikaira is also very hard, because this instance in itself is so jam-packed with enemies. The chance of finding some dangerous enemies here is very, very high compared to, say, other instances. And in this case, we're actually fighting against cold and fire at the same time, hatchling here. So they're going to be kind of fun to deal with all at once. And we'll heal up. And we haven't even seen the boss yet. Oh, great! You blind me. Get rid of that rogue. Hello! You don't usually see these guys, but this is a Molitor. A belligerent Minotaur with a destructive magical arsenal and armed with a hammer. So this is a giant Minotaur, and he basically has, shall we say, more advanced talents over regular Minotaurs. This guy has something called Fire Flash. He usually, much like the other Minotaurs, carries runes and infusions for his use. This guy is basically a far more powerful Minotaur type of enemy to fight. Usually you don't fight, well, let's put it this way. Killed by you, 0. This guy is one of the type of enemies that you may never, ever see in a game. This guy's very rare, just Molitor here. Much like the other guy, he drops a Minotaur nose, which is very nice if you need it, but he's not someone you'll usually find. And we just got Bone Grab from this guy. This guy's, what is he, a Reaver? He's got Reaver talents, so this guy's a Reaver, another Reaver. Alright, so I gotta be very careful with this guy. He used Bone Grab, which basically pinned me to the ground. Very fun. We're going to try dirty fighting on him. And that failed to stun him. Oh wait, yes it did stun him. Much like you, by the way, these guys can use Infusion Wand to cure stun if they want. In this case, this guy actually can cure the stun. We'll try Dirty Fighting to deal with him. And actually, he doesn't have another one, so he's stunned completely, hopefully, now. And I can't use Shell Step because I can't do that currently, so we'll actually get rid of that Bone Grab, and then we'll daze him. Alright, that's out of the way. Now, I'm actually considering this a very lucky entrance into this Daikaira 4 instance. Usually you find a boss a whole lot faster than this. The boss, this is very open terrain. It shouldn't be that hard for you to find a boss. It shouldn't take this long to find a boss at all. The boss, like, I should have found him far sooner than this. But whatever. It's actually good not to find him this early. Ow. Ow. I took off my knockback ring, as you can see, so... Ah, there we go. Varsha the Riftling! Dragon! Fire! Claws and teeth, fire and death. Dragons are not extinct at all. So here is the most advanced type of dragon enemy you can fight, and well, what can I say about it? This is the only type of dragon that you'll basically fight in your game. It might be Varsha here, or it might be the regular type of Daikaira boss. Both are still dragons, and in this case we're basically fighting a fire dragon. So I'm just going to look at Varsha here. So Varsha basically has Belling Roar, Fire Breath, Fire Storm. She usually has Infusion, she has Knockback, and she has a Wing Buffet. So she's a very mean, nasty dragon, and as you can see, her instances has very dragonish type of loot. In this case, gems and such. And she activates Firestorm, and there's her Fire Breath. Dragon Fire Breath. So we're just gonna get closer, and we're on top of her now. Hi, what's up? So we're now next to Varsha, the Riftling, and this is I guess one of the reasons that this instance is kind of tough. Varsha is actually not that tough, but she does pose a little bit of problems to fight. Did I fail to stun her? Oh great, she has not been stunned, or wait, maybe she has been stunned. No, she did, resist the stun. So great, Varsha just resisted my stun. Let's try sweep. Alright, so note that with Varsha, she's kind of like Rafroot, or that boss from the old forest with like the aura effect up close, but in her case, she's actually doing a lot of fire damage to me all at once. So she can actually be kind of dangerous to fight up close like this. But we actually do a lot of damage as a Shadow Blade right now, so... Hey, look at that, I got my illness effect off from my, my cloak. So illness. The target's infected with a disease and reducing its dexterity and strength and constitution by 5. So I actually cut her stats a little bit there. Let's try Whirlwind. I'll notice that at this point I've got like no stamina. I'm actually using my stamina here sort of just to, kill Varsha here as fast as possible. Note, by the way, once she starts taking too much damage, she runs away. And I can't keep running after her with this this boulder throw over here. So we're gonna do this and step away. Step away. Notice that she's actually coming back. If you move away from her, she'll come after you. If you move toward her when she's injured, she will run away. She's not very deciding what she wants to do, but whatever. There's a thing there. Kill that guy. So at this point, I've killed everything on here is really dangerous. The boss and most of the threatening guys. We're just gonna kill these guys. Make sure I heal up. Hey, why not? There's a boulder thrower again. Ow. Hey, look, another giant spider. I seem to be finding lots of giant spiders early on, which is kind of nice, if I need those ingredients. And is that it for this instance? Alright, well, it took me a long time to clear Daikaira, but that's it for Daikaira. We finally got through it. Now, we, at this point, I've hit level 20 on this character, and something I'm thinking about possibly doing as a result of getting to level 20, I'm actually thinking about just demonstrating something about vision runes. And by the way, I'll note that here's the temporal rift. I haven't really talked about it, but much like Old Forest, Daikaira has a second entrance in it to a dungeon, the temporal rift. It always appears in Daikaira free. I'll basically do that in the next episode, but for now, I really want to try and find Hakuren Zun here, so we're actually going to try to book from his dungeon for the moment. We're basically this escape, and we're just going to go buy ourselves a vision ruin. And there we go. Exit for world map. Okay, we're just going to go this way. I'm basically going to go through all the ruin shops at this point to try and find a specific type of ruin called the Vision Ruin. Vision Ruins are considered to be one of the weaker type of ruins in the game, but how they work, they basically let you see stuff of a specific type of monster. Those are not... They basically let you see a specific type of monster. So if I use like this one, this is Vision Ruin of the Duelist, See Demon. So if I want to find demons, this will let me see demons. This one lets me see undead. Neither of those are kind of helpful, so we won't stick around. And I'm looking for one that lets me see elemental, hopefully, if there one exists like that. If I can find it, or if I can find something of that akin to it, I can make use of it to find Hakuren Zun for you guys. This will be my last ditch attempt to try and find him. So if I don't find a ruin, we won't really worry about him. And let's see, horror and see humanoid. So neither of these are useful to me. So as you can see, it comes in all the different types of enemies that you can basically fight. The humanoids, the horrors, the demons. And we don't have access to the dwarves, so I'm sorry to say this, but I can't show you Hakuren Zun because I basically can't find his other 3 pieces of him, or whatever it is. So that's it for Daikaira. Now, I'll note at this point we've actually managed to accumulate 3 full ingredients for Grimly here. So hooray! This is a very good thing. At this point, I'm basically... Oh, a note by the way. Because when I was like, those Rexlings, they didn't actually get killed by me when I was fighting them. So I didn't actually get any Rexling eyeballs. So something to know about these ingredients, you actually have to kill most of the enemies to get the ingredients with them. I ran away from those Rexlings and they basically got killed by the other denizens of the dungeon. But if I actually wanted, their eyeballs and stuff, I should have tried to kill one, just so I made sure I have it. But since I didn't, we don't get access to it, and I don't have the benefit of doing it. Alright, so here's a Grimly. He gave me that quest for the Elixir of Focus a while ago. I returned with the ingredients for the Elixir of Focus. Alright, so the halfling hands you a note and says, Heard Ungrel of Last Hope managed to make the elixirs of stone skin while you were loafing. Hurry the hell up next time. Alright, so something to note about these alchemists. Whenever you complete one of these elixirs for them, one of the other 4 guys will complete his elixir. So in this case, this guy from Last Hope down here, he actually managed to create one of his potions. And here's this one. Now, if you want to, you can offer this guy more aid for some of his other potions. So you can get yourself luck or critically strike with spells. We don't need either of those with the Shadow Blade I'm playing right now, so we won't worry about it. After you pick up a potion from him, you can basically have him right here. So here's like, Elixir Focus. This will let me get my 2 class points for use on my character. If I want to, I could basically keep helping a Grimly, but yeah, we don't really care about the other stuff he's offering, so it's not really a big deal. Ungrel of Last Hope, as you can see, you'll see that Ungrel of Last Hope has completed Elixir of Stone Skin without your aid. And also say for Grimly that he's completed Elixir of Focus with your aid. Oh, hooray! And none of the other guys haven't completed anything. So, what these guys are trying to do, they're trying to create their free potions. Once they create their free potions, you no longer get any more elixirs made from these guys, so you sort of have to pick and choose who you're going to help. It's highly recommended you help a Grimly first, or Ungrel first for the Elixir Foundations or the Elixir of Focus. So I'll probably wait for Ungrel here to help him out next, perhaps. And after we help him, we'll basically move on to help out the other guys or help out Ungro a little bit more if I decide I want the other stuff he has. And there's reasons for helping out Ungro, for example, if I want to help complete the third potion he has. You'll see why. At this point, I guess what we're going to do, we're just going to go to Daikaira again. And next time, what I think we're going to do, we're going to go to the Temple Rift. I recommend, by the way, just so you know, I'm level 20 at this point. I wouldn't recommend going to the Temple Rift before level 20. It's, how can I put it? It's a one-way ticket type of instance. Once you go into the Temple Rift, you're basically bound to either die in it, and I mean literally quite die in it, or complete it. If you don't complete it, you die. If you do complete it, you continue on, so hooray. But you want to bear in mind that you want to be very careful with entering this place. Now, we're going to use the Elixir of Focus right now. And you'll note that that gives me access to my core talents, so I get 2 more class points. We'll use these to put into here and here, so I can pick up some more defense. And we'll start beefing up my defense a little bit more. This category point, I'm going to basically save this for an inscription slot again. And if possible, I'll try and make a vision rune. But I'm just going to be blunt about it. I'm not going to hope for it, basically. Alright, so I'll note that Blur Sight here is the same, by the way. We're actually going to move it over to my other sustains here. There's also Illuminate that I picked up. That is this one, the first one right here. Illuminate is actually a fairly good ability if you level up magic early on, but my character hasn't really focused on the magic stat, and as a result, this would be very weak. So we're actually going to take this off my hotbar. So, whoop! Off it goes. And next time, we're basically going to go into the Temple Rift, and I'll basically show you off what that one's all about. For now, take care, and hopefully, if I remember it, I'll try and get back to Harkun Zoo in a future episode. Take care!